Hello. We are here on the Mindful Mic. I'm Colby, and I'm here with my co-host, Grace. Hi,
Hello,
Grace.
everyone.
And we are really, really excited today because we have from Boise State, well, I should say maybe not anymore Boise State, but we have Allyson Alden here with us. Hello, Allyson. How are you?
Hi, I'm good. How about you?
So good. Thank you so much for accepting our invite to join us today. I'm really excited. I think I met you back in April
I
at
think so.
the City
Hmm.
Club Forum for Are the Kids Okay? And
Yeah.
you were on the panel. You were so great. As soon as you were done, I bolted to you because I was like, and everybody wanted to talk to you, so I weaseled my way in.
I know. I'm glad
And
we got the chat.
I know it was so brief, and I have so much to talk to you about. Both Grace and I do, and have so many questions. So, so let's just get into it. Let's have you introduce yourself and talk about why you're here and what we're going to talk about today.
Perfect. Okay, I'm Allyson Alden. I just graduated at Boise State and I was there for the past 2 years for my MBA, and I also played beach volleyball. And before that, I was at San Jose State and I graduated with a Bachelor of Arts in Psychology, and I played indoor and beach volleyball there.
Have you always been playing volleyball? You've always done sports, and volleyball is kind of the one you picked up later, or and
Yeah,
how
I've
did you?
always been doing sports.
Okay.
Yeah. So I played, man, like every sport you can think of. Like I even played competitive dodgeball, which I think is a little
Oh my God.
crazy as a kid. But I didn't start really playing competitive volleyball until I moved to California in seventh grade. So even that's like seems so young, like seventh grade is still so young. Like that's a pretty late bloomer for sports these days, which is crazy because people start like in third grade. But for me, I'm technically a late bloomer. So
I mean, it is really crazy how much it's changed and how people are starting their kids younger and younger, and also I think starting them at a specific sport.
yeah,
Where I feel like when I was being raised, it was just do everything, and then later
yep,
on, high school, you kind of figure out what you wanted. Now it's like, okay, by your age, by the seventh grade, like you're saying, or elementary, like, okay, what do you want to focus on? And I feel like
yeah,
there's so much pressure
definitely.
for that.
I agree.
So you found out volleyball was your thing, but are you doing court volleyball at this time? Are you right? I mean, you're in California, so do you go straight to the beach?
I did court volleyball and I actually hated it. I actually really, really hated it until about my sophomore year of high school. And I only did it because my mom was like working for this volleyball club. We just moved to California. We needed friends. Both of my sisters played volleyball and they really liked it. And I'm like, I don't want to be anything like them. I hate volleyball and they love it. And so I hate it. I just did court, and I did court up until my freshman year of college. And that's when I started beach for just like 6 weeks because it was during COVID. So we didn't even have like the beach and indoor team in 2020 for San Jose State was very intertwined. It's not really like that anymore for a lot of colleges, but I played for basically 6 weeks of the season because we just couldn't because of COVID.
Oh
And then
yeah.
I picked it up again my senior year of college. So I've only really played beach, like competitive beach volleyball for 3 years.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
And
I honestly am embarrassed to admit that I didn't even know that Boise State had a beach volleyball team. And so I think
That's
it's
what a lot of people
amazing
say.
that we do. And I need to get out and
Yes.
experience it
Oh
a
my
little more.
gosh. It's amazing. And the community's awesome. And like people who love Boise State athletics so much, like it's an amazing community, but they're just like, I didn't know we had a beach team. And I'm like, yep,
I
we
know.
were ranked number 18 in the country, which is
Wow.
amazing. This is the
Wow.
best we've ever done. Last year, we broke school records too. We went to the NCAA tournament. And this year, we didn't make it to the tournament, but we were ranked higher than we were last year. So it's been like an amazing climb. And we're really hopefully putting Boise State on the map for beach volleyball. Cause like even a lot
Absolutely.
of people living in Boise are like, yeah, is your sand blue? And we're like,
I know.
no.
I know, and that's the thing. I don't think we really think of the beach here. That's the last thing we think of. We think of a beach, we think of it on the side of the river, and we
Hmm.
have over at Quinn's Pond, we have people surfing, but that's in the river, so we don't really. I don't think that really comprehends with us. So
Yeah.
hopefully, after this conversation today, people will be like, it'll put you guys more on the map. And
Definitely.
because I loved, supporting, I know everyone here does love supporting them, Boise State athletics and especially supporting women. So yeah, that is so cool.
Awesome.
So, go ahead, Grace.
Oh, no, I
No,
was
you
just
had
going
to-
to say, Allyson, I'd love if you could tell us a little bit about your experience as a college athlete and also how that maybe influenced your decision to get involved in mental health advocacy and how that all ties together.
Definitely. So, man, college athletics has been like a roller coaster of a ride. Like I mentioned already twice, I think. It started in COVID, and that was really hard. Like I went to college, I think, at the peak of COVID when people were like, yeah, do I go to college? Do I not go to college? I think we, as athletes, we were the only ones allowed on campus. And at San Jose in the Santa Clara County, that was the strictest county in the entire country. So we had very, very strict like lockdown protocol for the longest, I think, period of time. So, and also at that time, there was like the massive fires going on in NorCal. So at first we started to practice on the grass kind of near our beach courts. And this is indoor volleyball. Like this is completely different. Grass is a much like grass, beach, and court are so much different. The skills are the same, but it's just a lot different. And there's, I think, probably 6 of us there. So like our whole team, not even close to our whole team was there. And that like just starting in that was just crazy. Like it's your freshman year, you want to make friends. I made no friends outside of my team that year because I just wasn't allowed to. I wasn't allowed to mingle with other athletes or with other students because of the COVID rules. And we ended up being able to practice on a court, but we would have to drive out of the county to do that. It was just like starting college athletics was just a crazy time. And then we had a shortened season in the spring. I'm so thankful we did have a season in the spring, but just very shortened and we only played conference. And I think that really just kind of sums up how my college athletics went is starting in that time. Because right after that season, I tore my ACL and I was out for 2.5 years.
Oh my goodness.
And I couldn't do like the sport I loved. And that's kind of how I found beach volleyball. Then I wanted to medically retire from volleyball in general. So I left San Jose right after my junior year. And I was going to go home and train and hopefully transfer to another school after I graduated online from San Jose. But my sister's club beach coach called me up and he was like, hey, I'm coaching at this junior college. Do you want to play beach volleyball for us? And I'm like, yeah, I have nothing else to do. Like I'm already interested in continuing to play, and this will kind of get me back in shape and back into the feel of volleyball. So that's what I did my senior year. I was dual enrolled at San Jose and Miracosta College at the same time, and I played beach volleyball. And then from there, I came to Boise State for my grad years.
Gosh, going through COVID and then tearing was it your ACL that you tore?
Yep.
I mean, that's rough. That's a really rough start, physically, mentally, which obviously we'll get into as well. Quick question. So what's your hometown? Is your hometown San Jose?
My hometown is San Diego.
San
like
Diego.
North County, San Diego. Yeah.
Okay, beautiful. So now you're a beach volleyball player. You recovered. COVID's over. And you're heading to Boise?
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
Headed to Boise, and my goal was to do psychology as a master's, but they only had counseling. I wanted to, I think, go on to the more research side of psychology and industrial organizational psychology, so like a lot of statistics. And I was honestly kind of going back and forth in between going to grad school or going to med school to be a psychiatrist. So like very kind of different because I ended up doing business at Boise, but just because they only had 2 counseling programs. And for me, I think it really takes a special person to be a counselor. And like, I'm very thankful for those people. But I don't think I could be one because that's really, really tough. So that's why I ended up going the business route.
Yeah, that makes sense. But sounds like you've still always been interested in the mental health field, right? Psychology kind of ties in.
Definitely.
It's a little more science focused, but the brain and how the brain works.
Yeah, so here you are in Boise, culture shock from San Diego a little bit?
Not from San Diego, but I think from San Jose.
From San Jose. Yeah.
Yes,
Just like
definitely. But it's
smaller.
been smaller. It's been amazing, and the people are amazing. I think and there's so many people moving from California anyway, so it's like, and I knew a lot of my teammates before I even came here. I don't know if they knew me, but they knew my sister, so I knew them because they played with my sister club in California. So like I knew a lot of people's families. So it was just like a really easy transition, which was awesome.
Yeah, was the transition into Boise State, I can imagine since COVID's done, you could be more social with people, that was a lot better of a transition than your first year at San Jose.
For sure. Oh my gosh, yes. And this is the first year I think ever that the year I got here, or at least the semester, that all of my classes were in person. So I was in a cohort and I met such amazing people just in my classes. Like I'm obviously very close with my teammates, but obviously the same case at San Jose, very close with my teammates. But I didn't know a lot of non-athletes. And at Boise State, I think I really surrounded myself with anybody that I could, which has been amazing. And I think that's what Boise State does really, really good, is like connect people with people if you're on a team or if you're not on a team. So that's been really awesome.
So your journey in mental health, you come here, getting your MBA, you obviously have a passion for it. Where does that begin? Does that begin, you've always had an interest? Is that, struggle as an athlete? Can you talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah. Yeah. So I wouldn't say it's always been an interest. It's definitely always been a struggle of mine before I even started athletics. So I know this is really, really early, but I think it started around third grade, and I'm a military child. So at that time, my family just moved to Japan, and that was really hard because first of all, I don't know the language. Second of all, I'm ripped from all of my friends and my family at home, and we moved from an area in California. And I was born in Virginia, so like we've been everywhere, but like that place in California was very special to me. I had this amazing best friend that I just didn't want to leave. And I just, like, obviously I don't remember too much of third grade, but my mom is like, that's definitely when it started. And I agree. I remember just feeling so sad and so lost and so alone. And like, I don't know if it was because of our move, but I know that like depression runs in our family. So definitely my parents were already on like the lookout for signs of that. And so I started getting help in third grade. I started seeing a psychologist, like a child psychologist, and that was amazing. And I've basically seen a psychologist or a counselor since I've been in third grade off and on. Yeah.
Wow.
I kind of see a similar theme that I think a lot of people can relate to in regards to mental health, which is that sense of community and connection and belonging, right? Moving to a completely different country and being torn away from your friends, to me, sounds like it has a lot of similarities to starting at a new college and being in COVID and not having that, like, those interactions with people that I think are so critical for our mental well-being.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And like, I think there was a lot of similarities between starting college the first time, not the second time, but starting college and kind of moving while I was in third grade. And obviously I moved again after that. I moved back to California. And that was our last like big move. And I definitely felt it again moving back to California. So it's like the sense of belonging has definitely not been easy just because of the amount of times that I've moved. But I think that plays a really large role into depression, anxiety, and just overall mental health struggles, at least for me.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Here you're in athletics and very competitive. You're already dealing with stress and anxiety just from moving alone as it is, and having to start over and not having a sense of community. How does athletics come into that? Does that bring on more of your anxiety, more mental health challenges, or is that a way for you to kind of find your community and, relieve that stress and anxiety?
Yeah. So in high school, I would say like volleyball and just sports in general has always been like such a huge outlet for me. Like I could be sad and unhappy right up until practice, but as soon as practice starts, like a switch in my brain flips and I'm like, wow, this is where I belong. This is where I feel my best. This is where I hang out with my friends. So that has been amazing. But obviously, like COVID and like that was a tough time in college. But again, sports like really brought my joy up. But then when I got hurt, everything just kind of sucked. Like I didn't feel like myself. I had to go to practice, and we have a block of 20 hours a week, but honestly, probably we were with the team or doing lift, treatment, practice for 35 hours a week. And I just had to sit there and watch everybody do what I loved. And I think I was really unhappy and bitter when I had to go to practice just because I had to be there, but I couldn't do anything. So I think up until that point is like sports has been such an outlet for me. And then after like obviously my journey through my injury and healing, like now I'm just thankful that my body can move because about a year and a half in, I still couldn't walk, which is crazy. Like it just really hurt to walk. So like now I'm just incredibly thankful for any chance I get, even if something is hard. And I just remember back and I'm like, wow, I hated it. And now I love it. And I'm thankful that my body is able to move like this, even though it sucks right now.
Wow. Yeah. What were other ways that you have kind of coped with mental health challenges that you encountered throughout your life? I mean, obviously sports, any way that you're outside of moving your body, probably, but what were other things that helped you get through those times?
I don't think I had very good coping skills up until I moved to Boise. Um, I talked to a counselor and I took medication, and I've been off and on medication since seventh grade, maybe. And that helps sometimes and it doesn't help other times. Same thing with a counselor. Like I talk to them and I just we talk through some issues. But other than that, I used to sleep a lot, which I don't think is probably the healthiest coping mechanism. But now I like to spend time with friends and family and my dog. I got a dog when I moved home from San Jose, and I think that's been incredibly helpful. I mean, he's registered as an emotional support dog, so that's been amazing to have. Um, and just getting outdoors and I make stupid little volleyball videos and edit pictures. Like that's what I've been doing as more of my coping mechanisms lately. And I think as I've grown and after my injury, like I don't think I would have figured all of this out if it wasn't for my injury, which I think a lot of people can relate to with injury, but I think about those who don't have an injury and athletics is their whole life. Like what do you do for yourself outside of athletics? And that's what I've really found since grad school and since I've moved to Boise, which has been amazing.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit about Bronco Bold and how you got involved with that, because I feel like that might tie in a little bit, right, with finding yourself and improving your mental health outside of athletics.
So our team has to do 20 hours of community service, like a school year, 10 in the first semester, 10 in the second semester. And Bronco Bold is, I think, the biggest organization that I did community service with. So right when I moved to Boise, like we worked all of the Bold games, which is just like mental health awareness games for all of like every single sport at Boise State has a Bold game. And I believe all of the high schools that Bronco Bold work with to also have a Bold game. And I did a lot of my hours with the Bronco Bold, and I got to know Stephanie a little bit. I didn't get to know her very much the first year, but one of my teammates is on like the board of Bronco Bold, and she's like my best friend, Lily. And she just has so much good things to say about Stephanie and Bronco Bold. So when I found out I wanted to do this fundraiser, I basically sat down and I talked with Stephanie, and I'm like, this is something that's really near and dear to my heart. And I told her my story, and she's like, obviously, like we have this in-house high school ambassador program, which I didn't know about until this year. And she was telling me about it. And I'm like, wow, this is perfect. And the high school ambassador program basically serves, I think this past year, they served 16 high schools in Southern Idaho. And it just provides mental health resources for students. And I think it's just an amazing thing. And I think they just expanded this year. I don't know how many high schools they're doing this year, but she's like, so we have this high school ambassador program, but also I can find you any other mental health organization outside of the school. And I'm like, you know what? like, that's perfect. I learned a lot about it. I did a lot of research and we talked a lot. And that's kind of how I got involved more with Bronco Bold other than just volunteering at like the Bold games.
And is Bronco Bowl just for student athletes? Is it a student athlete led organization or is it college wide?
Bronco Bold, I believe, is just a student athlete, but then the high school ambassador program, I think, is for all high schoolers. Yeah, so not just limited to athletes. It also provides like trainings to staff and like support members too, which I think is amazing.
Both these programs are so great, and I want to get into the ambassador program. But really quick on the Bronco Bold, let's just rewind for a little bit for those that have no idea, have never heard of it before. Can we just rewind just a little bit and give our listeners kind of an idea of like what exactly it does? You talk about how's the mental health bold games, but what else does it do? What does it do in the community? Obviously, it's a Boise State program.
Definitely. Okay, so Bronco Bold is like our mental health of Boise State, and we have like two amazing sports psychologists, EJ and Stephanie, and they work with the athletes. And Bronco Bold basically just, even though it is a student athlete like led organization, they provide or they like spread awareness about mental health throughout campus. So we do like some events, we do chalk the walk, and we go and write like positive notes throughout the school and throughout like elementary schools and high schools. And we also spread like awareness of mental health to just the students as well. So we like sometimes you see the frats and sororities like handing out little stuff in the quad. And so Bronco Bold will do the same thing. Like we'll go and hand stuff out, and we'll just spread awareness about mental health, which is awesome.
And have you seen it grow over the years? Because I mean, it's not that old, right? Of a program, isn't it? More relatively
I think it's
new?
pretty new. I
It's
don't know
pretty
how
new?
new it is, but
Yeah.
I believe so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I'm wondering if, since you've been involved, because I feel like we're talking more and more about mental health throughout the years, especially after COVID. So I'm wondering if you've kind of have seen an increase in participation and people being a part of the program.
I definitely think so. I think like just from a community service standpoint, like those are always the events that get filled up first and the most, and there's the most student athletes wanting to volunteer for this kind of stuff. And I think people are just realizing how important it is to have good mental health, and just this one little 2 hours of community service like that can mean so much to a regular student or a student athlete. And not so I think still not a lot of people talk about it, but I know that it's definitely helped a lot of people. And I believe like just talking about it, like since I've joined, there's been so much more talk about mental health and how important that is to just being a well functioning, and especially in college. So I think it's definitely grown, but it has so much more room to grow also.
Yeah, it sounds like just the fact that an organization like that exists on campus probably plays a big role in reducing stigma around mental health for athletes and non-athletes alike. Yeah, just to know that that exists and people are talking about it.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And
Yeah.
I was gonna say that I have a lot of friends that kids are going off to college right now, and so much I hear about is the anxiety and the stress going off to college, and then with athletes too, whether they're in their senior year or junior year, and they're having to like really think about where they're going to school and how athletics play into that, and oh my gosh, the anxiety and the stress. So it sounds like if we know of these high schoolers, right? I know Bronco Bold is part of Boise State, but if there are high schoolers that are getting ready to go off into college that are in sports, is this a place that they could reach out to?
Bronco Bold.
Bronco Bold, yeah.
I think
And get
so,
some
yeah. Like
resources
even
and help?
definitely. Oh my gosh, yeah. Even if they don't go to Boise State, like I think that these people will work with you no matter what school you're going to, and help you find resources at your school. But I'll say there's like so many resources at colleges that people just don't know about because they just don't look, or maybe it's not very well known at their college. But I used it's at San Jose, it was called, so we didn't have any like sports psychologists or sports counselors there. We just had what the school offered us. And there it was called like CAPS. I don't know what it stands for. I don't know if every school it's called CAPS, but most schools have, if you're enrolled as a full-time student, most schools have like free counseling for students, which is amazing because if your insurance doesn't cover it, like counseling is expensive, and like this is such an amazing free resource that you can use as a student and a student athlete just to get a little bit of help. And for Boise State, like I'm sure that anyone on Bronco Bold, like me included, like I'll help you find any resources that you need at your new college because I think it's like a very underutilized resource that's
Yeah.
there for to help you, but people just don't know about it.
I think that's fantastic. I mean, to know going into college, it's already so scary as it is, to be able to have that or know about it, resources, and have you or somebody be able to help out and get them prepared. So first day on campus, they know, who to talk to or kind of where to begin,
Definitely.
which is really great. It's such a great program.
It's amazing. And I've used it for like just prevention. I've used it in emergency services. Like I needed one year I needed CAPS as an emergency. And they were just amazing, and like you just need to know where to go. And I thankfully me and my coaches did, so we got everything figured out. But it's just an amazing resource that's there for everybody who needs it.
You bring up a really good point that sometimes the most difficult part, I think, about accessing help is learning how to navigate the system. First of all, like you said, learning that the resource even exists in the first place, but also how to utilize it. Like, where do I go for counseling in this school? What happens
Yeah.
when I walk in there? And sounds like Bronco Bold and other organizations like it are really helping to bridge that gap.
Definitely. And I think for student athletes specifically, like Bronco Bold is amazing because there's just like an office that you can go into and it's so nice. And especially as a student athlete, like you could feel like scared to go walk through school. Like maybe not as much beach volleyball because it's not a well-known sport like we talked about, but maybe like a popular men's or like women's basketball, that it could be scary to go into like a counseling building and someone be like, hey, you play blah blah blah, and you're like, oh my gosh, like I don't want to be seen in here. And obviously you shouldn't feel that way because everybody deserves to get help, and it's not a bad thing to do that, but it could just be like a good starting safe point where athletes feel safe and kind of in their bubble to get the help that they need.
Yeah, I think that, you sound like you've been on the journey for a long time. You're very open. Obviously, you're here talking to us about your struggles, but that's not the case with everyone, right? Not everybody
sure.
wants to talk about their mental health struggles, or it's a new journey for them. So
Definitely.
it sounds like a really safe place.
Yeah.
And then when you talk about the ambassador program, that's something that is not really necessary towards athletes, right? It's just high school students
I believe
getting ready to go to
so.
college. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was actually amazing. I was invited to speak at this award show that the Bronco Bold put on for the high school ambassador program, and it was amazing. And I got to meet some students who were part of the ambassador program, and there's just like a designated group of people from each high school that were there to represent their high school and their part in the ambassador program. And they handed out awards, and it was just kind of amazing to see what they are doing for their community, and they're just making it fun. Like social media is so big these days, like, and now I keep getting these schools and their little group of ambassadors like popping up videos of like, hey, it's mental health awareness week, like wear this color, this outfit this week to break the stigma. And I think that's like so cool that students are doing that. The ambassador program has just kind of like led the way for students to have creative freedom with that. Like they're not necessarily leading this, but like these students are, which I think is so important for their peers to see and just like honestly for the world to see. So it's been really awesome to see.
Yeah, it's a lot easier to digest, I think, when it comes from your peers versus adults or your teachers. So I think that's sounds like a really important aspect of it. It also sounds like, athletes are such role models to a lot of people, to younger kids that watch them, but also to other kids on campus who can know who these athletes are and their faces. And so I think Bronco Bold and athletes being involved in mental health, while it's not their responsibility to set the example, but if someone, sees them walking into the counseling building, I think that in itself is a really cool way to decrease the stigma as well.
Definitely, definitely. And I think an example of that is like having Maddox at this award show. Like, that's a football player that so many people know, and him just being there, I think says a lot. And I think I don't know him very well, so I won't speak for him. But from the conversations I had, like, he seems like a really amazing, genuine guy, who really also cares about it. And so it was like amazing to see some big athletes at Boise State like supporting this program, which I think is a really big step in like breaking the stigma in the athletics community.
Yeah, and talking about breaking the stigma, obviously the biggest way to do that is to talk about it. And we just talked about how not everyone's comfortable. How did you get to the point in your life where you were comfortable, talking about it, especially being, at Boise State and being an athlete that people recognize? Have you always been open about it, or was it something that you felt was a need that you needed to do this? Where did that strength come from?
I would say I've always been really open about my mental health journey just because it has affected me so much in life. Like, it's removed me from a lot of situations. Like, I make plans and I cancel them and I'll be like, hey, it's not your fault. I'm just feeling like really sad today and I just can't get out of bed. So for me, I've been really open about it to my friends and my family. And when I started college, I knew that I would have a little bit more of a platform as an athlete. And I've always really been a mental health advocate, but it's always been obviously really scary to just put it on social media and tell it to the world. And it's like, I think I've made a really large impact in a lot of people that are my friends, but maybe like not to strangers. But this year, I think I'm finally kind of past that hump of like, I'm not so much in it. I still feel it, but it's not like crippling me anymore, because it used to do that. And Kenzie from women's soccer, she did a fundraiser for, I think partnered with RM Soap for special needs. And she really inspired me to kind of tell my story for this fundraiser. And it was really scary. And it wasn't because I feel like I needed to, but I think it's important to show other people that being not okay is sometimes okay, but you also need to learn how to get out of that. So that's where that kind of started with, and the public eye was just really the start of this year. And it was, yeah, and it was really scary, but I think as it's been happening, it's been really amazing. Like, people, like strangers have DM'd me and they're like, hey, thank you so much for sharing your story. Like, I've been going through this too. And I'm like, wow, that's amazing. Like, and they ask for advice and I give them what I know, because I'm not a mental health professional. I've only lived it. So it's been really amazing to have been able to connect with other people that maybe are not surrounded by the people that I was growing up. Like, my parents were so supportive of giving me the help that I needed and finding me every resource that I needed to be okay and get out of depression, anxiety. And other people I know just don't have that. So I think just being there for someone can really just save someone's life.
Yeah, I mean, I think using your platform, you said you're not a professional, but just being able to have people relate to you and taking the opportunity that you've been giving and being really strong and vulnerable, I think is huge and is the right step to break the stigma. We've interviewed Drew Peterson, professional skier, ultramarathoner, and he says in a lot of his TED Talks and his speeches, and he wished at his age, which was, I think, third grade or, very young like yourself, he wished there was someone like him that would have spoken up, that he looked up to, because it would have saved him a lot of issues, depression, anxiety.
Definitely.
And so now he's doing what you're doing, and I think it's so admirable of you using that platform, because although you're not a professional, you are, in that you've lived it and you know it and you're able to help people.
Definitely. It's been amazing to be able to share like my journey with people, and especially other athletes and young athletes. It was hard for me to see what life was going to be like outside of athletics, and I just hit that point And I'm still like, what am I going to do? But I have a little bit more of a positive mindset about that now. So it's been amazing to just talk to any and all athletes and even my teammates and just be thankful for them and let them know that like mental health does matter, and be able to share like my journey with them. And because all of my teammates, man, they're so incredibly strong, but I know that everyone struggles sometimes. So just letting them know, like, hey, it's okay and you'll make it through. Even if people aren't showing you that they're struggling like people are, and it's okay if you are, and it's okay if you don't show people that you are, but like you will get through it. So it's been really amazing.
So I want to do a rapid, quick fire with you with questions of people that might be interested. So just a few quick questions. Let's see. What is your favorite Boise spot that you love to go to here? That you
Okay, I really like.
This is where the fun stuff, right? We talk
True,
about the
that's
serious, and it's been so right now we gotta, find out
True.
the stuff.
Okay. There's three
Putting you on the spot.
places.
Okay.
I like Caffeina Kitchen. I like it's a coffee and like little breakfast spot. I like Certified. I think that's classic.
Oh, so good.
Classic one everyone has to go to. And then I really like Nara Ramen on Bone Crossing. I haven't been to the one downtown, but I really like the one in Bone Crossing.
I don't think I've been
Yum.
there yet. Those are good.
Good.
Yeah, those are good recs. Okay, the next one is, what is one word to describe your college athletic experience?
I think I said it earlier, and I think it describes it perfectly. It's just roller coaster. It's been really up and down and twisty and oh my gosh, like tricked you on the stop. Nope, we're gonna go again. So yeah,
Here we
Love
go.
that.
yep,
The ups and downs,
definitely.
which I feel like has described, like we go back and forth to like the COVID, and then you get out of
Yeah.
it, and then you hurt yourself, and you get out of it, and then
Yep.
so yeah, definitely sounds like a good word to describe for sure. What is the best advice you've ever received? Whether it's sports, college, mental health, anything.
I think this really blew me up in the moment, but be an energy giver and not an energy taker. And at that time, I was really an energy taker, and my good friend said that to me, and it really made me angry. But I'm like, wow, you know what? You're right. And I can't be mad because you're right. So I think that's probably the best advice. And I think that goes into athletics and into life.
Yeah,
That's a good one. I like that.
Yeah.
that is. I haven't heard that. I really like that. What is a self-care habit that you couldn't live without?
Alone time.
That's a good one.
Good.
Yeah,
That's good.
I'm a big alone time person. And I think if I go 48 hours with alone time, I start to go a little bit crazy.
Yeah.
But for me, I know people are have very high social batteries, but I just do not. So mine would definitely be alone time.
Same. Need a little recharge.
Definitely.
Yeah. Okay, so this one is a good one to kind of end up with the rapid fire questions. What does being mentally strong mean to you?
I think it means being honest with yourself, because it's kind of easy to fake it to other people and to yourself sometimes. But I think when you are mentally strong, it's like you understand what you're feeling and you go and get help for it or figure out a solution. And I think it's easier said than done, and something that probably goes a little bit underrated.
That's a good. I like that. And then this isn't rapid fire, but you just graduated. We talked about congratulations.
Thank you.
What's next? Are you staying in Boise? Are you going back to San Diego?
Or does that
the
stress you
question.
out?
Or does that,
You don't have to answer it.
No, definitely. It's definitely a toss up. Right now I live with my boyfriend. We've been together for 5 years. So he's looking for a job in like the LA area or San Diego area. He's in the interview process with both. And I just got back from the Netherlands, and that's where I went and played my first 2 weekends of professional volleyball. So I got third place in the first tournament and fourth place in the second tournament, and I played with one of my teammates from this past semester. So my goal is to play professional beach volleyball for as long as I can, but It's very hard to do that if you do not have a job because it's
Yeah.
basically like a pay to play situation. Not like you're a part of a team like you see basketball or even professional indoor volleyball. You basically find your own partner, you pick your place to live, you pay for Lyft, you pay for a coach, you pay for travel, you pay for hotel, and you pay for the tournament. And if you don't
Oh my
win, you're
gosh.
out of money. So I'm looking also for a job, but it will be easier to find a job when we figure out where we're going to
Yeah,
live.
where you're going to be.
So, yeah.
So I'm curious, you pick a partner. So do you, cause I guess that's it, right? It's two people. So it's not like a
Yep.
team that you're joining. You have a partner and then the two of you go out and do tournaments.
Definitely. You can pick a partner, you can switch partners every tournament, but it's kind of more successful if you pick a partner for the season and you practice with them and you train with them. Because if you switch partners every weekend, like it's because there's only two people on the court, like it's a very chemistry based sport, I think. So if you guys don't work for one tournament, you will be like, well, we just spent all this money to come to a tournament and we've practiced 2 times together and we sucked. And so it's just not worth to do that. So usually you'd pick a partner. But yeah, I compare it to golf.
I was thinking that.
Like,
As
yeah,
in tennis too, right? And the
tennis and
the
golf.
doubles
Yeah.
tennis.
Yeah. So it's definitely a very interesting professional sport because you're not a part of a team. Like you don't belong to anyone. You belong to yourself. So that's a little scary. So
I bet.
Yeah, you have to navigate it yourself, right? You have
Yeah.
to navigate what your next step is.
So
definitely. And I think living in California would be a little bit easier. My goal originally was to stay in Boise for 5 years, but as I got better at beach volleyball, my original goal was always to play professional indoor overseas, but that quickly blew up. So I'm like, well, what am I going to do? So the plan was to stay in Boise for 5 years and get a job because it's such a growing city and with a business degree, like that's an amazing place to start. I mean, it's such a beautiful area and I really like the people. But after the past 2 seasons, I'm like, wow, I really want to give pro a shot. So
Absolutely.
now's the time to do it. Now's the best time to do it. So
Well,
just
you'll always
giving
have a
myself
home
the best
here.
opportunities. Thanks. I would love to come back for sure. It's amazing there.
good for you. I'm wondering, no matter how your life turns out and what career path you decide to go down, how do you envision yourself continuing to be a mental health advocate throughout it all?
My social media platform has grown a lot over this past year. And I think just like I said, like I have another Instagram account where I just post silly volleyball videos and edited pictures. And I think just continuing to the easiest thing that I can do is post on social media, but I'd love to do more things like this and more things like the city club meeting, and just showing people that like you can get through college athletics and like my path hasn't been too easy and now I'm hopefully a pro beach volleyball player. Like that's amazing. I think showing kids like that it's possible to live out your dream even if it doesn't go the way that you think it will is going to be so important. So I'm also thinking about going back to school for a PhD in psychology. So we'll see what happens. Yeah. But that won't
That
be
would be
for a little
awesome.
bit until the future.
Yeah, until you start to miss school, you like get this weird feeling like, oh, maybe I should go back.
I know. And I already miss
That's
it.
something
and
I
it's
never
just, like,
missed.
it's been a couple weeks. So I love to learn and I love to meet new people. And
Yeah.
if you told my mom that, she'd be like, who are you? Because you hated school in high school. I'm like, I
Things
don't know.
Well,
change.
it's different now. You found your community. You found
true.
a place where you can, where you're able to settle down more rather than moving on other terms.
Definitely.
So you can kind of make up your own terms now, and you're young, so you have so much ahead and so much wonderful stuff that I just want to make sure that we keep in touch and able to know what's going on, and yeah, make sure everybody
Definitely.
we'll put all your handles on our webpage so people can follow you
Awesome.
and see where you go and where you end up.
That's perfect. Thank you so
I
much.
love that.
Yeah,
Thank you.
This has been amazing. And I'm glad I can share my story to maybe a different crowd of people who haven't seen it before. So that's awesome.
Well, we really appreciate it. Your strength and vulnerability on sharing your story means a lot to so many people. So we really appreciate you taking the time to talk with us further today.
Thank you guys so much.
you're making a difference.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thanks.
And everybody that's listening here, We will be back on our next Mindful Mic, and continue to follow us on the mindfulmic.com